Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about how to film a police scene. So number one, I want you guys to remember is this should matter in your story. You're not just doing it just because it looks cool, that it should make some kind of impact in your character's journey or something significant you want to talk about in your film. So earlier I made a video called how to make like a superhero style movie, and in there I had a police scene where my character was basically the supervillain who runs around with his tongue that can shapeshift, and he gets surrounded by a bunch of cops who have him at gunpoint. And this scene was actually a lot of challenge, but also a lot easier than I expected to film. And this is the scene where everyone was asking me about it afterwards. They were like, how did you film this? Why does it look so like real? How did you get the cop cars? And it's actually a lot easier than you think. So let me break it down and show you guys how you can do this as well. Biggest thing I think is probably the lighting. The lighting, obviously you're gonna have the police lights, right? And you can have these aperture MC lights, you can have the light bulbs. I got these cheap lights on Amazon. They basically just suction cup onto the window of your car, and then you can do the police light setting. I was actually trying to do some research. I was trying to figure out like what situation like the lights would shine in what order, and I kind of figured out this one pattern that kind of looked really realistic. If you get this light, you can basically just reference how I did it, and essentially you're gonna want to basically have a ton of these different police lights, like an ocean of police lights, right? Like it's not just one cop car. You want a ton, if that's what you're going for, I think. But when it comes to police lights, make sure you're doing it in a private location, not in public, because this could bring like a lot of suspicion. You know, people are gonna be wondering what's going on. Make sure you find like an empty private parking lot or wherever you want to film it. Just make sure you won't have any trouble. Also, I think filming at night makes things super easy because you're trying to hide the fact that you're not actually having legit police cars on your set, right? It's like fake. So shooting at night kind of like covers a lot of that, and it hides a lot of these like noticeable things. Also, those police lights are way brighter at night because it just like it shines like crazy. Also, if you want to put on your cars, make sure you close the cars like headlights, because those things are really distracting in the scenes. For cinematography, definitely have a lot of dynamic camera moves. I think that's super important to create this like disorienting feeling, because right, it's like you're being stopped by cops, right? And it also brings to like the action aspect of it. Also, shallow depth of field, also super important to create this feeling of like you're being trapped. Long lens, I think this tighter angle, you know, when you are shooting at like maybe 50 millimeter, 75 millimeter, it like basically hides a lot of the imperfections. Again, like what we're trying to do is create this illusion that there's a bunch of police cars, right? So you're gonna want to hide as much of the outside world as possible. So for cars, I think any white, gray, bluish, black cars should work. You're really not gonna see the car too much, basically because you're gonna be filming at night and these police lights are gonna be really blinding. But make sure they look something like a police car, right? Don't have like this random like orange Beetle just sitting there. Like people are gonna tell that's not a police car. Or if you have the budget, you know, go rent a police car. But I mean, I don't really recommend that. I think that's too much of overkill for like a short film. And then for prop guns, obviously our film class, you know, you can't really use prop guns. So what I had is I got these black latex gloves, and I had them just go like this, and it like at night, right, it's just their silhouettes and stuff. It looks like actual guns, and that's exactly what you should try to do. And you know, if you can't have prop guns, that's even better, right? That's gonna look even more realistic. But I wouldn't worry too much about it, just because again, at night, all these tight lenses, shallow depth of field, like you're not gonna be like seeing too much of that. And then for actors, so you're gonna get them the police costume on Amazon. You can return it afterwards, and basically make sure they fit good. But then again, it's like it doesn't matter too much, just as long as you have the like the hat, like it should look fine. Also make sure they like kind of understand how to like do the handcuffs thing, how to like hold the gun, how to stand. Like that's a lot of things like as a director you should convey and teach them. Some other important things is the editing aspect. In post, you know, having like a music over it, maybe it's like a tense, brooding like feeling to, or like an action-packed, like very fast-paced soundtrack. Super important to have that, If you don't, I mean, it still works, but it just might not work as well because you're trying to convey this like urgency, right, to the audience. And then color grade, you know, you want to make sure the lights are saturated, but also not like too like bright. Balance out the lighting of everything. And just what I did was, you know, I created this like film look almost to it with some grain and halation, which like softened a lot of the lights. I think the Pro Mist filter on my camera also did a lot of work too, to like make sure the light isn't like a like super harsh like glare with like all these streaks everywhere. It's like kind of like a halo. And then lastly, make sure you have good sound design. You know, have the siren effects, maybe some of the megaphone effects, the footstep sounds, the wind, the ambiance, the cars driving, you know, the police cars like chasing, helicopters in the air, just like creating this whole web, this whole world right around this scene. I think it's super important. Yeah, so I hope you guys learned from this video, and I wish you guys the best on your future filmmaking endeavors. Peace out.